Hello, I hope all is progressing well. Welcome to I Don't Know, We Can Talk About It, where we discuss myriads of topics civilly, reasonably, and responsibly. My name is Kevin Dufresne. Our first topic revolves around play with learning. One may consider play with learning as edutainment, education plus entertainment. And I find the article addressing the shifts between what may be driving through policy as well as what may be actually effective to be very important with addressing what implementations are happening in educational environment. Not just with early childhood, though early childhood is a base of which the article is addressing. I find what the article presents as effective to be in wonderful alignment with how learning may be effective, efficient, relevance-wise. And when integrating dynamics of learning in a fun way that correlates to what may be necessary applicability in the real world, so able to be a application in the real world, then the learning parameters may prove more well-rounded for individuals that may encounter a situation in connection with learning that may operate through an individual's creative direction with the learning. So one may consider how blocks may be very appealing for an individual that has an interest in architecture, that has an interest in design, and how the development of the interest proves to be may rely greatly on the individual, though the environments of which the individual comes into contact with that bring about the resources as well as dynamics of social relations that may affect how the individual approaches design, architecture, playing with blocks. So in an environment where play is an integral part of learning through relevant dynamics, I find the learning may be of exponential growth, of exponential potential. Now, one may address how to guide playful learning, especially when individuals may be in an educational environment taking the play to a different direction, so as to ensure the relevance of the learning heightens and does not receive stifling. The other area is addressing how play might integrate across fields. An educational environment may be integrating play through a particular form that may intrigue an individual to find a correlation through a different form of play that brings about a similar form of excitement. And the individual may attempt to integrate these forms of play, though the two realms of play may not intersect in the course, though may intersect with the learning dynamics of play with the material set. For example, an individual that is playing with blocks may find correlation with block building games that an individual may play in a different environment. So the individual is observing correlations, perhaps during a lesson, that may have to do with mathematical dimensions, more so than in connection with game design. Though an educational environment may be able to cater to these dynamics, these integrations, and have individuals embrace the integrations in their creative ways with encouragement. So individuals embarking on these integrations may find routes that show stable foundations of play with the different dynamics of interest in connection with relevant parameters. So one may, again, address how blocks may be in use for many different situations, two of which appear to be mathematical and of design in the present circumstance. I find any educational environment able to integrate learning to such capacities may be able to well acknowledge individual growth as well as individual intentions with learning dynamics that may be more so from an educational environment's introduction, so as to better acknowledge what an educational environment may do to better support individuals. Our next topic is about deepfakes. Now, how technology is so present in lives of individuals is an area of which requires attention. The article mentions an ostrich scenario that an educational environment may be resembling. Even so, the question of the scenario may return to other environments external, extant from an educational environment. What is anyone to do with the marketing appeal of technologies that may not even have direct relationships with an educational environment? A tool is present, though a tool being present alone does not mean the tool will be put to use. AI is a tool, a resource that is not novel, though is at foregrounds of conversations of technology for many different reasons that receive advertising beyond what may be actually set for advertising intentionally. AI is present, though, like any other tool, allows for a different engagement of technology, of social dynamics, which is really the direction I'm addressing. If one observes the world of which one lives through, one may be able to observe many buildings. So, if one may be able to observe so many different architectural engineering dynamics, how might one perceive approaching these dynamics? If the tools are set in front of the individuals, are the tools going to be put to use? How are individuals learning to engage with each other? The article brings about a method of shield, brings about ways to address the situation of deepfakes. Though addressing deepfakes is one area of a broader conversation. How are individuals learning to engage with each other? How are individuals learning to be social with each other? How are individuals learning to be mindful of each other? How are individuals learning to be respectful of each other? These dynamics of etiquette, if one will, exist before AI. These dynamics of being appropriately social, if one will, are of human dimensions which deserve first attention. Why might any seek to engage with a harmful endeavor toward anyone? Why might any individual not be of a mindset to address behavior personally that may affect another individual, especially to such a capacity that a deepfake may make accessible? I feel as though the emotional intelligence, the social intelligence, the intelligences require appropriate attention, because even if tools are present, that does not necessarily guarantee individuals will use the tools. So what is the impetus to drive one's behavior toward a route of creating a deepfake, using technology to harm another individual? I find addressing aspects of human spectrums to be extremely important and extremely valuable to ensuring an overall better interdependent reality. All right. time for some origami. Now, I have a square sheet of origami here. I'm going to fold point to point so the points will meet. After folding point to point, I'm going to have the sheet. So I will fold this portion up to the center. And then I will fold the bottom portion to the center as well. Then I will fold the entire piece up as so. Then address folding on the other side. Now, what's going to happen here is I'm going to just fold the point at the base of this triangle to this middle line. Again, origami doesn't have to be perfect with the folds, so as accurate as possible. Afterward, I open it. And then I'm going to bring this point over to the crease that creates from the prior fold on the other side. And these creases are extremely important. Then I'm going to do the same to meet this crease. When a crease happens in origami, it may assist with a following fold. Okay. Next, what's going to happen is I'm going to fold this piece up here. So then fold the other piece up here as so. Okay. Now we'll bring it back. So now we have our diagonal folds here. So now what's going to happen is I'm going to take this portion, fold it up, and I'm going to fold in this side here. Let's fold them up a lot more. Let's fold it up. Okay. Do that. Okay. So we're gonna fold it up here. All right. I'm gonna take a glance at the instructions, just to be clear here. Voila. And the instructions are available to view in the summary of the video. So what's going to happen here is I'm just going to fold it in at this line here. Okay. On this side. And from here, we're going to fold in this flap. So after the folding in of the flap, we want to press it down so we can have a nice angle. So from here, I fold in, just observing the instructions. I fold in, then I bring this fold down and as I bring this fold down, I'm actually going to just open it, flatten it. Okay. So what it looks like here. Alright, I'm going to have it folding here, bring it in, then pull it in, then bring it down. I'm multi-folding. So we're gonna see what kind of variation I get from here. Next, I'm going to take the other side and bring it cross body over, and gonna match this fold. This fold will match up here with this line, so it can match with this line as well. Just needs to match with one of these lines on the outer edge. So this line or that line. I'll match it with the more inside line. And thereafter, just gonna fold this piece in along that new crease, and we're just gonna take this portion and bring it underneath this piece. Next, what we're gonna do is we're just gonna fold down the angles here, and after we do this folding here, we'll turn our glove around, and voila, we have an origami glove. Now, are you able to wear this? Somewhat. You are able to wear it somewhat, though the design is present and might be a good design to have hanging on the edge of your computer, perhaps in a notebook. And maybe if you have pockets, you can just slide it in the pocket, and then it could just be like a nice little decoration that pops out, like an origami glove. All right. I champion reading physical books. When an individual reads a physical book, there are long-term health benefits. The book, Why Men Love Well, is quite a work of comedy. If one appreciates satire, if one appreciates raunchiness, one may observe the language that may come off as closer to comedy than offensive, though if one finds offense, respects one's feelings. The text engages with the terminology of which comes to use, so as to address how one may feel about the word that is very clear in the title. Now, the text does bring in real dynamics to consider about communication in a relationship, entering a relationship, how one goes about beyond a relationship, and the text is engaging with characteristic proportions of personality that need addressing as one is embarking in the world with romance, however that may be for one. So I find the text to be comical to many degrees, though definitely worth adhering with one's own thinking, with one's own mindset, though of course keeping an open mind as to what the propositions of the text actually mean and how the text may mean in regard to relationships in a more modern senses, especially considering more modern technology. Even so, at the rooting, how individuals communicate is extremely important and relevant to the text, and how individuals respond to each other is core to the text as well. Thanks for joining. I don't know. We can talk about it. Onward and Upward, Kevin Dufresne.